everybody. It's me, Sofrita Lala. I'm back today with Zach Maslany.
What
Zach,
up?
Say hello to your people.
What up, peoples?
There you go. And so I got a long list of credentials for you. You're an Eddie Bravo black belt, just an overall lifetime martial artist, and a weed enthusiast. Anything else you want to add to that list?
Lover of dogs.
That's a good one.
Yeah, and just a family guy, and not the family guy, but a family guy, and just all that stuff pretty much wrapped into one right there. You summed it up pretty good.
I like it. A collaborative effort. My producer G wants to know, what is your astrological sign, if you don't mind telling us.
Gemini.
I just said Gemini right now.
She guessed Gemini, apparently.
Damn. Yeah, my wife is really into astrology too, and she's always guessing stuff on people. I'm like, damn, really? And then like just numerology and all that stuff. So I dig it.
Oh, we need to interview your wife next. What's her sign?
She is same as me.
Oh, Gemini also?
Yeah.
I like the same sun.
She says she likes the same sun sign combo. The good club.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll get to that, another time. You give me your wife's info. We could do a whole numerology, astrology episode right there. But, first things first, what have you been getting into these days during the quarantine and all that?
We've been trying to keep busy as much as possible. We just got our classes started back, and we really haven't been following many of the rules. But we've been trying to keep everything as safe as possible. We got a lot of people who work in the health field, so they've been kind of hanging out for a while, and but we've been getting our main pro guys back to training as much as possible because they got some big matchups coming up. So,
okay,
but that's it.
What are they looking forward to?
So my number one student, I would say, her name is Grace Gundrum. She's going to be competing at the July 19th in El Paso, Texas, at the Jiu-Jitsu Overtime tournament. She's facing black belt Danielle Kelly, and Danielle has been on the Rise Invitational a bunch of times, I know, up in New York. So, and they were supposed to go against each other, I think maybe a year or two ago, and it just didn't happen. So now we're finally getting it done, which is, we're really excited about that because Grace just turned 18. So it's a big match for her. So pumped that Danielle took the fight. So we've been really concentrating on that. So.
That is awesome. Yeah, I've seen Danielle go quite a few times. She is no joke. And then I was checking out Amazing Grace's stuff, just seeing what she's about, and woo, that's a talent right there.
Yeah, it's crazy. She's been training with us forever, and she really embodies the 10 planet style. She got all the old school 10 planet moves, and she's learned blocks and her defense. So she's just really excited. She's been lifting. She's been wrestling and stuff too. She started wrestling. So and I know Danielle has a really good wrestling base, and Danielle competed in our tournament out here that we run called the Finishers Tournament. And I just know it's going to be a crazy matchup. So I'm just pumped to see it. I'm just pumped that something's happening, because we've been waiting around forever to get something going. So.
No, definitely. I mean, I think MMA just all type of MMA, whether it's BJJ, just that's going to whet everyone's palate, get them back into it. And I feel like because there's not a lot of sports going on, this is a great time for people who are in martial arts to kind of just show their stuff. Yeah,
it's going to get a lot of eyes on it for sure. I know a lot of people are going to be sitting around doing nothing, so I'm pumped to be out there. So I'm going to be in the background going crazy. I'm going to be like, I get more nervous when I'm coaching than I do when I used to compete because, I don't know, I'm just so worried about them, and I know it's kind of out of my control. So I'm like in the background, just like, oh my God. But when I was competing, I didn't really care as much. It wasn't as bad. I was nervous, but not as nervous about it. Especially when Grace goes, it's like my child out there, So.
Yeah, I can only imagine. That sounds tough. Is there anything you kind of instill in her or tell her specifically?
Not really. I mean, lately we've just been like, pretty much business as usual, but usually what I do, because Grace doesn't watch like any footage or anything like that. Like she's not really big on Instagram. She has an Instagram. She got like 12,000 followers or something. She follows nobody. Her mom kind of runs it. So, and I pretty much do the promoting for her and get her sponsors and all that stuff. So I guess I'm her manager too at the same time. But before the matches, I'll just kind of tell her, like, because I'll watch all the tape and I'll just kind of tell her, hey, watch out for, this person's knee bar, like, and we'll go over like a few specific things, like this person's really good at this, just so if they got a really good arm bar, or they have a really good back control. You know, we're going to specifically work those things. So that's kind of where I come in, and my partner JM comes in. Like, we just, you know, we train her every day, but like, you know, she already knows what she's doing. She's going to do what she does. She starts off a little slow, works her way into the match, and then, you know, she just kills it. But yeah, we kind of just like work on the things that she's, you know, she doesn't care to pay attention to. Like, I'll tell her she's going against somebody and she'll be like, who's that? I'm like, oh, you don't even know. You know, me, I watched it, like, I'm like up late at night, like with a magnifying glass watching everything. She's just like, but that's what makes her popular though. You know, that's what makes her cool. It's like part of the you know, one, they call her the silent assassin. You know, some people call her Amazing Grace. I think Eddie Bravo started calling her that, but I always nicknamed her the silent assassin because she doesn't say much. So
that's cool. That's the best way to be, though. You know, they don't even see you coming on like some real ninja shit. You know,
yeah, exactly. She's very unassuming, and then she gets out there, and when she puts chokes on and stuff, she's showing, now that she's a little bit older, she's showing a lot more emotion than she ever has before. But usually it would just be like, finish them, stand up, thank you, okay, we go home. And literally we've gone to like Portland, and she's done a match out there, won, and then came home, we're celebrating, and she's doing math homework. I'm like, okay, so that's how she is, but that's what makes her cool, you know?
No, definitely. I feel like those are always the best, the people who are best, because they just do it because it's like innate, it's in them, they love it, and it's just, that's their thing. That's cool. I wish I had something like that.
I know, me too. She's like a real life samurai that I get to hang around with, you know?
That's cool. She makes you look cool then.
Yeah, exactly. Ninja shit. And I'm like, yo, remember Uncle Zach? That's what I always tell her.
Word, but I mean, you have your own extensive martial arts career. I saw you started in karate, you did some kickboxing, Golden Gloves, and so what was your MMA journey like, and how did it get started?
Actually, I started with when I was younger. I started at a place called Master Glacier Karate, and it was like Taekwondo, and then it changed to Tiger Schulman's in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, with Sensei Villafane. And I trained with Tiger for a long time, and he was actually my first coach. Wow. And, you know, so I've seen some of your older videos with Shane and some of the guys. I've known a bunch of those guys and saw them coming up since they were kids. It was really cool. And I definitely did like fighting MMA, but just at the time when I was doing it, I was fighting in the ring, and there was way less guys doing it, I think. And so it was kind of like guys back then doing Karate Kid, and that they're like, guys would come up, and even now, like, I don't know how they get people who talk about MMA, they'll come up like, how's karate practice? And I'm like, no, we were actually doing MMA. You guys just didn't know, but they called it like NHB or no holds barred or whatever. And they used to have the fights. Lou Negli would have the fights, and it would be like a combined kickboxing and, you know, MMA fights, and they would have grappling with it and stuff. And that's how I got jumped into that MMA game. Was Tiger ran the Challenge of Champions. You could do all the underbelts, you could do all the matches, and you just get a ton of experience, and it's freestyle fighting. And then eventually worked your way into kickboxing, and then it would be why don't you try Golden Gloves? Okay, I'll do boxing. Okay, I'll do, you know, grappling to get better for MMA. And it was just a whole combination of stuff. And that's kind of why I did a little bit of everything. And I thought that was cool. Like, the only thing I didn't do was like sumo or something like that. I think, you know, that might've been the only other one that I didn't try. Yeah. But I think that made me, I think all those experiences just gave me a really good idea on coaching, you know, coaching Grace and coaching all the young guys that we have coming up. You know, just having all those different experiences. Like, I never made it to UFC, or, you know, I did make it pretty high in the grappling, grappling tournaments and stuff like that. But my goal was always just to get better for myself and to help students, because I always wanted to open up a school. So I think just doing those things gave me the experience in general, you know, so I'm definitely thankful for that.
No, that's amazing. Just to have something. I mean, it sounds like you were just kind of like good at it too. You know, you just kept going. One thing rolled into the next thing, into the next thing. So what is it about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu that kind of stole your heart, I guess? Is that like your favorite?
Yeah, I think that's definitely my favorite. I think it's I know like Joe Rogan has said this a million times, but it's like the one martial art where you can really go at it 100%. Like, you can really wrestle with people and really choke them out and get finishes. In kickboxing, you can go 100%, but you're gonna leave with a headache a lot. You know, back in the day when guys didn't know, people would always pound on each other, and now sparring is a lot lighter. But even when you're light sparring, you kick someone in the knee or something like that, it hurts. Like, I can literally roll jiu-jitsu as hard as I want and beat the shit out of one another, and choke each other. You like bending arms, like trying to twist someone's leg. And rarely you don't have crazy injuries, you know, and there'll be guys that are in their 50s rolling and wrestling and stuff. And that's kind of why I liked it. That and my first ever fight, I beat a wrestler and I used my striking and kind of defensive grappling to win. And the second fight, I went against a purple belt under John Danaher at the time. And no one even knew who Danaher was. And I didn't really know shit about grappling. And I was just trying to KO everybody. And I got caught in a triangle and I got put to sleep in the ring. Now, yeah, granted, it was like an old, like a basketball court where they used to have these fights. So it wasn't a big deal. No one even saw me get pat. But once I learned, I'm like, wow, this jiu-jitsu is real. Like grappling there's a whole nother level. And then I just fell in love with it. And I just kept going down rabbit holes, if you will, to like the next thing and the next thing. And then I found Eddie Bravo and I'm like, oh shit, this guy's pretty cool. And then he can do, his body moves like mine. And I just kept going and going and going. Cause I feel like jiu-jitsu is like a rabbit hole like that. You know, they say, take the red pill.
Right. No, it's crazy. I feel like there's always like an answer to everything. Every question has an answer. And then that answer can have a question that has another answer. Jiu-jitsu is crazy. I feel like you
science
cerebral to just couldn't be me. I've tried jiu-jitsu. I really like it. I'm like, oh my God, how do you remember everything?
Yeah. It's really hard to remember. I think that's one of the things that makes Grace real good. She's got a really good memory and she's just so smart. And athleticism will take you a long way, but you know, if you can combine, it's like where the rubber meets the road. They say when the right amount of athleticism meets the right amount of brain power, you know, because I'll get some guys that are jacked and they look like they got horse legs and, you know, they're like, their arms look like cannons. And I'm like, this guy's going to be a beast. He's like a Ferrari, but no one's driving yet, you know, and then we got to fine tune him and get him to the point where he understands moves and stuff. You know, there's a lot of guys in UFC like that. They're big, strong, but they don't really understand any moves and they get away with it because they're so talented athletically, but maybe they don't become the champ because they don't have the smarts upstairs yet, you know, or their technique hasn't caught up yet with their body. So
no,
it's definitely cool though. Yeah, that's definitely what made me fall in love with it.
No, it's true. Like you see guys all the time. Like I've heard stories of these big brolic juice head type of guys coming in the gym and they put them with, you know, some tall skinny kid and just tap out, tap out, tap out. It's a different world.
Yeah, we're starting to have some teenagers tap out adults now, and that's like a big ego check. Like when you're an adult, when you're like in your 30s, you're like, you have a mortgage and a family and you're driving a car and some 17-year-old kid or 16-year-old kid is just some stoner, you know, with a fro that looks like, you know, Jay and Silent Bob choking you out with a rear naked choke. You're like, holy shit, that's tough for people to deal with sometimes. Some people can't deal with that shit. That's why I think some people don't like jiu-jitsu either. They're like, you know, some strong brolic guy and some stoner kid skateboarder taps them and they're like, what? It blows their mind.
Nah, for sure. And the thing that's cool with jiu-jitsu is like, I feel like it keeps growing and like it takes these directions. Like, you know, you said teens are doing it now. What do you think is like the next direction or like the kind of the next, or, you know, what the future of BJJ, what do you think it kind of
Man, that's a great question. I have no idea. It's crazy though, because I always think about like different sports, like extreme sports, like maybe like snowboarding or like skateboarding. Because in skateboarding, you would think like, okay, a guy did you know, maybe Tony Hawk, someone did a backflip, or they did with even motocross. Like one guy did 2 backflips. Then you're like, what? A guy did 2 backflips? Back in the day, no one did a backflip. Then all of a sudden, now a guy can do 6 backflips, or he's going to flip off the thing. Now he's coming off a plane and he's dropping. So like they always come up with something else. So I'm thinking maybe in jiu-jitsu, even though when you feel like I know every move, I'm like, there's no way anyone can trick me. Something else catches on. And then it just turns into like a whole nother avenue or path. Like you said, like, you know, the leg locks turn crazy. Now all of a sudden leg locks are really starting to seep into MMA. Like there's a lot more jiu-jitsu getting into MMA. Now, over the weekend, that girl, Kay, I forget how you say her last name. She hit that armbar, Hassman, right? She hit that armbar. That was sick. Like there's more and more jiu-jitsu sneaking in. The other guy hit an arm triangle from the bottom.
Yeah.
That was sick. You know, so guys are figuring it out. And I think like maybe more towards the MMA route maybe more in MMA, there'll be more leg locks and things like that. But in jiu-jitsu, who knows? There'll be something. Some crazy brainiac mad scientist will be like, you know what? We should be grabbing the leg like this. And it'll be one little thing and it'll change the game. You know, that's what I'm hoping for anyways.
Nah, definitely. I mean, I remember when like I was just hearing more and more about heel hooks and leg locks.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my God, that sounds insane.
Yeah, and at first, people's legs were getting, like, people in competition who didn't want to study them or said that leg locks don't work. Their legs were getting tapped out. There were black belts that never practiced leg locks getting tapped out by purple belts. Now it's evening out a lot more, where guys now that are just leg lockers can't go out there and just leg lock guys anymore, because people are figuring out the defenses. And you know, the Rotolo twins, like they had some great matches where at first I saw them get leg locked when they first started in the leg lock game. Now all of a sudden they're starting to get out of leg locks and they're starting to take people's backs, and you know, everyone figures it out. You know, like you said, there'll be something new at some point. I'm hoping. You know,
definitely. Switching gears a little bit. We're gonna, get into the herbal side of you real quick. If you
supplements.
Exactly, supplements. Well, speaking of, as a fellow weed enthusiast, do you think, because I know how I feel, but the fact that marijuana is still on the list of banned substances, do you think that's outdated, or do you think that's valid?
Oh yeah, that's got to be completely outdated. Just the fact that, I mean, look at this whole coronavirus thing. When this went down and all the essential businesses shut down, the weed dispensary in my area that I have a medical card for, they didn't shut down. And it looked like Woodstock over there. You drove over there and you had to get out of your car and they would bring it outside. There were people standing around outside talking to one another. You know, someone was blaring music, and then literally you pulled up, the guy would lean in and be like, "What's your order number?" in your car. And I would tell him the number, give him the cash. He goes in, gets it, brings it back, throws it in your car. You drive away. I'm like, damn, they're taking it old school. Like how you used to buy weed back in the 90s. Now, all of a sudden they're doing it like that at the weed. So I'm like, if it's still on the banned substance list, get it off there. You know what I mean? That doesn't make any sense anymore. The fact that they're giving it to people who just, but I'm for giving it to most people in the medical field. And that way people can experiment with things the right way, as opposed to just, buying random bags off somebody and you don't know what the hell you're smoking. Some of these people really do need this stuff. I've seen a lot of people at the medical place that have like real problems, not just young kids trying to get the card to smoke weed. So, I mean, I think it's really helping a lot of people too. So, I mean, the fact that it would be on a banned substance list, that's outrageous.
Yeah, to me, it's wild too. It doesn't really make much sense. But I mean, I don't know. Usually things take a while, I guess, for them to catch up. Hopefully it catches up soon. But what's your favorite way to, consume cannabis? Do you smoke, edibles? What's your thing?
Honestly, I would use pretty much all of it. I mean, sometimes it's cool to smoke a joint or something like that. Like when we go to California, because it's legal out there, like we're always going to California. Everything out there in California, all the big jiu-jitsu events are usually in Vegas and Cali, and it's pretty much legal out there. So, I don't really want to walk around with like a bong or something like that. So you could just buy little packs and they're pre-rolls, and it's so easy to just cruise around with those. And the jiu-jitsu culture and the marijuana culture, just complete mix. A lot of people don't know that until they get involved in it, and they're like, oh, I didn't even understand why. And then when you get into it, like a lot of the people, even though they don't talk about it like we are now, a lot of the people that train smoke for several reasons, taking anxiety away from going to training, helping relax. I don't take any pills or anything like that. So if I can just come home and, whatever the easiest way is, we have a vaporizer too. But, I think the best way for me, because I've been probably smoking since I'm 37 now. And I think I probably started smoking weed when I was a kid. So I need like a bong hit. That would be like the best thing, like a bong, because I feel like it's just one hit saves weed, or saves, the flower, and I'm good to go. You know what I mean? But nowadays, kids doing dabs and stuff. I'll do that too if I'm on the road or someone has it, but it's too much contraptions for me.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I saw this thing the other day. I think Seth Rogen was smoking out of it, and it like, did you see that, G? Yeah, like
it was like a pill.
It looked like a pill, and it like
a pill
around.
I did see that. I did see one of those. Yeah. Those things are cool too. Yeah, we have one guy that has like a cone thing where you put the dab in and then you press a button and like 5 minutes later you can take a hit out of it. Now that thing's cool. That seems like super like Elon Musk, you know, electronics and shit. I like those type of things. So I think they're coming out with some cool stuff too. It's about time.
Definitely. The weed business is booming right now. So I usually when I get high, I'll get like either lost into like some trash reality television or like a random YouTube conspiracy theory spiral. What's your, I guess, high thing? What do you do?
Yeah, same. I'll get sometimes at night, like after training, if it's like a late, like Monday nights, we're at the gym till like 10:30, 11 by the time we clean up, get home. And, you know, after that, shower, eat. If I smoke, then I might, you know, it depends. I'll either get really into work, like computer shit, and I'm just like banging stuff out. I'm like sending emails. Ooh, I got to get this done. Or I'll just be looking at like a video of like a pro wrestling match from, you know, 20 years ago, or Eddie Bravo is posting something up in the group and I'm looking through like, I'm like, wait, what are they saying? You know, and then I'm looking at through in conspiracies. I'm like, then I'll freak myself out sometimes too. I'm like, holy shit. Like I better, you know, or I'll blink and it'll be like 1:30, 2 o'clock. And I'm like, damn, I better go to bed. I better go to bed. But that sometimes it's just kind of what's cool for me is like, I feel like it's whatever I'm into. I'm just into it more. Like if I could explain, you know, what smoking marijuana does for me is like, that's probably it. Like whatever I like that even more. So think of anything, you know, if you're like, you like eating burgers, probably going to be good. If you like doing jujitsu, you know, if you like doing jujitsu and you get stoned before that and they got like a good, you know, I like, for training, I like to listen to reggae and stuff. So like, I feel like it keeps people real calm. Like I don't want to be playing Metallica. That's for like hitting the bag or like lifting weights, you know. Then I want to be like, you know, if I'm lifting weights, I want to hear the bodies hit the floor or some shit, crazy stuff like that. But most of the time it's just when we listen to some Damian Marley, Nas mix, put that on, and then like I'll feel really into it. Like I want to train more. Sometimes if I don't get a chance or it's like weird situation where I'm at and I don't smoke before class, I'll feel like, I don't know, it's weird. Maybe it is just mental, but I'll feel like achy and I'll just, you know, if I just get, you know, a little bit, you know, even if I just eat an edible before, like I like some of the edibles, I'll eat that before and go in. I'm like, oh yeah, now I feel like good. You know, I feel like I'm in the zone. You know, a lot of guys, you know how many guys smoke before big tournaments? You wouldn't be surprised. If I told, you know, some people that are not into marijuana, they would be like, what? I'd be like, dude, there are guys standing outside fight to win these tournaments. Take a couple hits. All right, now I'm ready. Play my music. Let's go. You know, you just get into it. So that's what I would say. That's like the easiest example. Whatever I'm into it more. You know?
Yeah, I feel you. I'm the same way. I lock in, but I can't imagine doing like a BJJ tournament high. Like I probably start thinking I'm suffocating. I don't even know. That's a different level for me. I don't know if I could commit to that. That's crazy.
Yeah. I think it's like you work your way up to it, you know, and then eventually, you know, and if you do that while you're training, it's kind of like a zone I feel in, you know, and like, honestly too, they have these new ones. Like I use you know, a bunch of CBDs. Grace got sponsored by a CBD company now, and there's a ton of good ones out there. The one we have is Ned. And then another one is called Our Life CBD. And we use those, and that doesn't have any THC in it. And that just helps anxiety. And I think that's what it does for me. Some people, like if you smoke like a sativa, like a Jack Herer or some crazy sativa before a jiu-jitsu competition, it's like slamming a coffee. You might be like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. But if you like can relax yourself, and maybe even just with CBDs, or some people now they have those pre-roll CBD joints, smoke one of those pieces and it just kind of like mellows you down to where I'm like, okay, now I can jump into this. I can go in and, you know, just, you know, feel loose, you know, as opposed to feeling so tense. That's what I want to feel like. I want to feel like I'm, you know what I mean? Like I'm a wave. So that way anyone puts me in anything, I'm just, nope, I'm out of it. You know, that's kind of how I want to feel. So sometimes I just don't want to go too overboard where I'm like not paying attention or falling asleep or something. You know, that's how you can get caught with them edibles. You can get caught with them edibles like that. If you take too many and you're like, oh, wait a minute, what time is it? I didn't even feel it. Then you take more and then all of a sudden it's over.
Yeah, I feel like we all have a bad edible story. I know mine was pretty bad. I once blacked out off an edible. So
yeah, I've heard of that too.
Yeah,
I heard of that too. I've seen a couple of people take some that never took them before, and it hit them pretty hard. And then one time I took a bite of a brownie, and then a guy said to me, "Hey man, that brownie was like 1,000 milligrams." And I took a big bite, and I was like, dude, I just kind of got tired, and I was at a gym, so I just ended up sleeping, like falling asleep. But I've seen some people like jump the gun and take it too soon, or they didn't eat anything and have that in their stomach, and all of a sudden I just seen them like, oh, so you got to be careful with those. Take with precaution, like anything.
I mean, sure. I like a little tiny hit in the morning, get your day going. That feels
Yeah. Coffee, hit, walk the dogs. I'm good to go. I'm ready to take on anything if that happens.
Yes, that is the one. But I did mention conspiracy theories earlier, so I just need to get your thoughts on the flat Earth conspiracy.
Oh man, that's a tough one. I know, Eddie and a lot of the guys are into the flat Earth. And they say, now guys are saying that space is fake. I don't know about that one. I don't know. Yeah, that's a new one too. They're like, space, you don't understand. We're up in this thing, and it's the way, I really don't understand. There's a lot of things, like I like looking into it. There's a lot of things that I know that I don't know. But it seems like I watched, about a year or two ago, I was down in Cocoa Beach, Florida, and we watched a rocket, one of the Elon Musk SpaceX rockets, go up. And when it went into the atmosphere, for whatever, I can't explain it, but when it went into the atmosphere, it was like getting sucked through a bubble. The world is round. I don't know why. I just thought to myself, I'm like, it seems like just the way it looked, like shooting up, I was like, that's round. It's got to be round. But then again, I would really like to see, some of the videos like they have online. There's so many conspiracy videos about the NASA and like how it's fake. I would like to see them face the camera the other way. That's what I would like to see, because they always face it towards one way. I would like to see them turn it and face it the other way. So, but until they do that, I'll just believe that it's round.
Yeah, no, I agree. Me and my associate here, G, definitely believe in space. We definitely believe the Earth is round. I mean, we're astrology heads, so of course we believe in space. But I mean, I had to ask,
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't want to take too much heat from that, but yeah, I'll just say if I had to choose, gun to my head, round.
All right, I'm sure the people will be happy to hear it. Maybe some of them will, maybe some won't, but it is what it is. All right, so we made it to the end of the interview. Is there anything you would like to promote?
Just want to say shout out to my team, 10 Planet, Bethlehem. Shout out to everybody on the squad, Finishers MMA. Shout out to my fam, and that's pretty much it. We're just gonna keep rocking it and just keep trying to push forward through all this craziness and see what we come up with. But I appreciate you guys having me on.
No, thank you so much. Also, we have to reiterate that the silent assassin Grace, she's versus Danielle Kelly. When was that again?
That is July 19th. It's on Jiu-Jitsu Overtime is the name of the tournament, and it is on UFC Fight Pass.